Hello, I'm Chief Kevin Molis from the Malden Police Department. Today is March 6, 2019. This video is part of our attempt to outreach with the public in as many ways as possible to give you information about what's gone on in the community over the past week or so and let you know what your police department has been up to. I think right from the beginning it's important to start out with the discussion about an incident that occurred Saturday night, March 2nd, that most people have heard about. So I'll tell you that on the evening of March 2nd, Saturday night at approximately 6:20 p.m., the Malden police received a call of a shooting. Patrol units responded and they located a 23-year-old male victim of a gunshot wound. The incident had occurred in the Bowden Apartments. The 23-year-old victim was transported to a hospital where he was subsequently pronounced dead. I'd like to commend the response of the members of the patrol division. They were able to manage crime scenes, gather information, and provide information to the investigating detectives who immediately took over the case. The case was investigated by members of the Malden Police Detective Division and detectives assigned to Middlesex County District Attorney Marion Ryan's office. As I indicated, as a result of this investigation, yesterday it was announced to the public and through various media channels that an arrest warrant has been obtained for a suspect for this crime. This wanted flyer will be linked to the end of this video, but I'm here to announce that an 18-year-old male, Yahia Mastori, is wanted in connection with this crime, and he is being actively pursued. As indicated in the flyer, and I want to tell you again, that it is believed from the investigation that this shooting occurred during a suspected drug transaction, and it is not believed to be a random act of violence. I also want to say, because there is a warrant for this individual, Yahia Mastori, there's an expression that police often use: he escapes who is not pursued. I want to assure the public that we are actively pursuing this individual for these crimes, and we are working in conjunction with many, many agencies to do this. It is our hope that anyone who receives this message that has information that can assist us in apprehending this suspect will make that information known to us. I want to take this opportunity to point something else out. I've received a lot of good feedback from the public about this format that we're using of getting information out. We are using various social media platforms to inform the public, and the response has been very, very favorable. But I also want to point something out, that people have the right to offer comments. That's their right. But I want members of the public to pay attention to something and be cautious. That many times the comments that you receive or see are unreliable, unsubstantiated, and unsupported by personal knowledge of facts. So be cautious about what you see posted on social media. And just to give you a little bit of an idea about what I'm saying, is that police officers in the course of their job rely on information. It's what we do, it's how we investigate things. And officers must assess their sources and decide whether the information is reliable enough to justify police action. That's a standard that we follow. A long-standing legal test helps. It's named after two Supreme Court cases, and this is called the Aguilar-Spinelli test, and it has two parts. Police officers must prove that their source has veracity. This means that the person is generally worthy of belief, and they have to have a basis of knowledge, meaning the information provided is most likely accurate. So I would ask you again, that anytime you see us presenting information to the public, and people choose to comment on it, as is their right, bear in mind that many times those comments are unreliable, unsubstantiated, and unsupported by personal knowledge. The information that you will receive from us will always be reliable and meet the veracity standard, and always have a basis of knowledge, I promise you that. Having said that about that incident, I want to now tell you some of the other things that have happened in the community with regard to police and public safety. Over the past week, the police department responded or was involved in 1,259 incidents, calls to service, or directed patrols. They made 17 arrests, and some of the arrests were noteworthy examples of good police work. For example, an officer on patrol noticed a person failing to yield for a pedestrian in a crosswalk on Eastern Ave near Franklin Street. As a result of that violation, they engaged the motorist in a traffic stop, and that traffic stop led to the seizure of drug evidence and criminal charges against that person. I'd like to point out that we had some noteworthy public outreach events that took place this past week. One of the more positive ones that I was able to witness myself was that this being March, it is a time of National Reading Month. So Detective Renee Kelly put together a group of officers who visited local schools, the Ferryway School, the Forestdale School, and the Beebe School, and some of our officers had the privilege and the joy and the experience of reading to young people in the kindergarten grades. I want to thank Detective Kelly for her work. It's something we're going to continue to do this month. And I want to thank particularly Officer Dave Young, Officer Trent Headley, Officer Cameron DiCarlo, and Officer Chris Griffiths for participating in this. I know it was a rewarding experience for them, and we will continue to do this. I also want to point out that Malden Police Officer Jesus Montoya was recently recognized by the North Shore Hispanic Association at their award event for his tremendous service to the community and his service to the police department. I often talk about times when we encourage the public to call if they see something unusual. And many times when people see something, they don't always call. They're a little bit reluctant. They're not 100% sure. Well, on Monday morning at 6 o'clock, I was driving in my car and I heard on the police radio, they gave out a call that a citizen had seen someone climbing in the window of a home, and they called the police. And I remembered when the dispatcher gave out the call, they said the citizen wasn't sure if something was wrong, but they did call the police. The police went and investigated and determined that it was not a house break. There was a perfectly explainable reason for it, but it was a tremendous example of a citizen seeing something and not just letting it go by, and actually calling the police and requesting that they investigate. So that's a good example of that. We continue to see, periodic episodes of people having their cars broken into, and as I often say, the cars are unlocked. So if you can do two things, lock your car, and don't leave valuables in it, that will go a long way toward making yourself a victim or reducing that type of crime. We are having an event in the city this coming weekend on March 10th in the morning. It's going to be a half marathon that's going to benefit the Rotary, and it's going to occur in a route that the city will be posting and making people aware of any road closures. But it's going to happen early Sunday morning, a half marathon and a 5-mile race for the Rotary. It's a great event to support a number of good causes, and we'll be providing you through the city some information about the facts and particulars about it. So I often say that Malden is a great place to live, work, and raise a family. And I also like to add that it's a great place to worship. And that is evident by the many different faiths and places of worship in the city. One nation, one city under God, indivisible. So today being Ash Wednesday, I would like to extend my best wishes and thoughts to those who begin the Lenten journey today. And I would like to close by saying I wish you to have a safe and happy week. Thank you for your time and your attention, and I look forward to communicating with you in the future. Take care.